Hello and welcome to a special extra episode of the Fresh Estate podcast, where myself and special guest Sophie will be discussing our experiences with COVID-19. So, Sophie, you have unfortunately had the coronavirus. You tested positive when you did a test. And obviously, I want to just quickly talk to you a little bit about your experiences with it, how it's affected your day-to-day life, and how it's affected sort of your ability to have what is considered a normal routine. So, do you want to just talk to us a little bit about how you found out you had it? What were the predecessor sort of elements behind it? You know, what were you like beforehand, and sort of how you're coping now?
Yeah, so my symptoms didn't start out as one of the three that are promoted as being you have these symptoms, you have COVID. I started out as it felt like a cold, any other cold. I'm someone who gets quite a lot of them, so I wasn't too worried. I was like, oh yeah, that's fine, carry on as normal. And then one night I came home, woke up the next morning and was like, I can't smell or taste anything. And I was going around my house getting the strongest scents and flavors I could think of. So, like, I drank undiluted squash, which normally would make me gag. Couldn't taste a thing. And I was like, something is not right here. Was very lucky in that I managed to get a test with just spending 30 minutes refreshing the page for that evening. And later I got a positive result. So then had to go through the process of phone up work, have to isolate, etc., etc. On the same day, I kind of developed a cough. So anything more than a shallow breath would make me cough. And as the week progressed, my breathing got a little bit worse. Never enough to be a major worry, but enough to be like, oh, this is a very serious thing. Not serious enough to contact a doctor or anything like that.
Yeah. So
Um,
so how did it affect your sort of like life then? How did that affect sort of everything about you? You know, your moods, your mental health, your ability to work, your exercise, your fitness, your eating. How was that affected?
so I live alone, so I felt so isolated. I was lucky that I had friends that I could text. I had a friend who bought me some food shopping to my door and was so lovely and bought me things that were just easy to cook because I was struggling. I lost motivation to do a lot of things, especially eating, because I was like, well, I can't smell it, I can't taste it. What's the point in prepping myself meals, which I enjoyed doing before? It was a struggle, and I just didn't want to eat. I didn't want to do anything because I just felt lousy. And then in the weeks kind of following, like as I recovered from those initial symptoms, I tried exercising again. And for some stupid reason, the first thing I thought I'd test myself in doing was walking up steep hill.
Oh no.
Um, yeah, which isn't great on a good day, but got to like the top and just had to sit down for half an hour. See, I've said before, I'm quite a headstrong person. I was like, you know what? I'm fine now.
I
I've
got
been
this.
back out in the world for a week. I feel a little bit better. Like, I'm not struggling as much from just doing basic things like going up and down the stairs to my flat was a struggle, but not anymore. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to challenge myself. And I thought I was going to collapse. I thought I was going to cough up blood. All the dramatic things that go through your head. I was
And
fine.
that was yesterday. Didn't even have COVID.
Yeah. But even now, 3 months on, I still struggle with a lot of exercise. So if I'm at the breakfast and after school club, if I've had a particularly energetic morning running around after kids, I will be out of breath and I will have to take a minute. Or even still coming up the stairs to my flat, if I try and do it too quickly, I need to take a minute. Whereas before, that wasn't a worry. I could just do things without thinking about it. And I've heard the term post COVID, and I've heard a lot about people being affected by memory loss. And honestly, my memory isn't as good as it used to be. And I'm not sure if that's just my age, but definitely in the 3 months since having it, my short term memory is not as good as it used to be.
Yeah, it's really interesting actually because I obviously have also had COVID. I tested positive in sort of what was it, the end of August, I believe. So you know, quite a long time ago, and my experiences were very similar to yours in the way that again, it started out with a cold. It was a little bit more of a severe cold than what I was probably used to. I was, feeling the cold a lot more. And then obviously, again, similar to you, I just lost my sense of taste. I was convinced that I was overthinking it. So again, similar to you, I did my family actually, because I was at home, living at home at the time. We did like a blind taste test to be like, hey, have you actually, have you
Yeah.
actually lost your sense of taste? So again, I was blindfolded and I did shots of different liquids. So similar to you, I did the undiluted squash. Again, didn't flinch. I did pure lemon juice, which obviously would normally make you like
Yeah.
you know almost wince. And I also did a shot of olive oil as well,
Oh,
just to be like, have you really lost your sense of taste? And again, I couldn't really, other than the texture of the olive oil, which obviously was a lot thicker. I couldn't tell you which order you gave me them in. The cordial and the lemon juice. That I had absolutely no idea. So we were like, okay, I think I got the symptoms on the Thursday. By the Sunday, I got a positive result, and again, self isolated. But unlike you, I was absolutely fine. Literally, the only problem with me was because I couldn't taste or smell, and therefore had COVID. I wasn't allowed to go outside. So for me, it was just like a forced 2 weeks off work and just not being able to
right.
taste food. I think it was the effects of that 2 weeks that really hit me. You literally can't leave your house. There's only so many times you can watch Netflix or play FIFA before you go, listen, I need to do something. And then again, very, very similar to you. I was actually going to come on to that point of the post-COVID symptoms. About 2 weeks after I was cleared, so obviously I self-isolated for the 2 weeks, and then about 2 or 3 weeks after that, so in total, like just over a month after I was cleared of COVID. Again, I was at work, working stock and stuff, and I felt like I was getting warm really quickly. Like I was sweating, I was like really short of breath. So obviously that made me think, have I got COVID again? Am I not cured? But obviously talking to other people and listening to podcasts of people that have had it, and obviously your experience as well, Sophie, of there is such a thing as this post-COVID symptoms. And I think even now, again, similar to what you said, my breathing isn't 100% back to what it was. I'm not saying, I'm struggling, or I'm not saying, day-to-day tasks are hard. But I think, like you said, if you've had an exceptionally stressful day, or if I overexert myself at the gym, for example, I really feel it more than what I would have done previously.
Yeah, definitely. Day-to-day life, like you said, isn't a
It's not,
struggle.
yeah, not a massive issue.
No, but it's in those times where it's just you can feel you've done too much.
Yeah, and
But
that
yeah,
overexertion, I think, is amplified as a
yeah.
result of having COVID. And honestly, I'm sort of just getting sick of it now. Like, I'm like, can I just go back to being able to not have to sit? Like, just sometimes I was saying this to a friend the other day. Sometimes I just sort of sit there and I have to sort of go, take a big breath and just sort of like not reset myself, but just take a deep breath because I feel I need to.
I do exactly the same. Sometimes I just feel like there's not enough air in my lungs and I just need to sit and take some deep breaths for a minute.
Yeah, and that was never my experience before COVID. So
No.
obviously it has had and obviously has proven to have had sort of long lasting damaging effects on your body. And obviously that's really interesting to look at, especially when, you look at your routine. Obviously you I think you alluded to it that you didn't do anything. You couldn't do anything.
No. I couldn't physically I'm in a one bed flat and I don't have outdoor space. I couldn't get outside. I'd stick my head out a window just to like get a change of scenery.
Just
Um,
feel the outside.
just to feel some air, you know? Um, but my routine just went wasn't doing anything. My eating times went out the window. I just lost all my motivation, and getting back into work was a blessing to give me back kind of that sense of I guess it's kind of control over my life, because I felt like I'd lost everything that I was used to in those 2 weeks that I had to stay just by myself in these like four walls. But even then, my routine wasn't exactly the same. I had to counter in like recovery time, I guess, from
Mm.
going back to work. and slowly build myself back up to what I'd been able to do before. But it was just giving myself that chance to, take a minute. And if I can't achieve as much as I used to, it's okay, because I've just had these 2 weeks of being ill with this virus.
Yeah.
It's an exceptional circumstance, but that's something that I now had to account for, and my routine had to alter because of it, like getting back into eating, like regular meals again, and actually tasting food.
And I think as well, like you said, like the lasting effects that you and I have both felt as a result of COVID-19, I think is something that isn't really discussed a lot, especially in young people, because obviously the narrative is, you're fit, you're healthy, you can recover from the virus fine. And I think whilst, yeah, I definitely have, I think, recovered quite well. And I think as of you, I think those slight inconveniences in, for example, like you said, our shortness of breath, our overexertion being amplified, I think is something that hopefully won't last a long time, but is starting to sort of highlight how dangerous the virus can be.
Definitely, as time goes on, I'm getting better, and I'm so grateful for that. And I think there are, like you said, a lot of misconceptions with how it affects young people.
Stay safe, everyone. Make sure you're wearing a mask, being responsible, and following all local and national guidelines, including the 2-metre social distancing rule. For more from Student Life, make sure you check out our website and stay locked to all of our social media channels, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. There you will find some of the best student-based content there is. Have a good one, and until next time, I'll see you later.